Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's going on, everybody? This is Torin Dailey with our Monday Manna experience, and I certainly pray that you are off to an excellent start to the week and the traditional work week. This is an opportunity for us to get together very briefly, just with a really kind of motivation to get things going off in a godly way. And so can't think of any better way to do that than to talk about worship. Worship. In Mark chapter 12, verses 28 through 30, Jesus is asked by a teacher of the law, what is the greatest commandment of them all? And Jesus responds by saying, the first of them is this. The greatest of them is this. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. And the second is just like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. We know this to be the great commandment, the great commandment. And in it, especially that first portion, love the Lord your God. It really points to the fact that worship is absolutely pivotal. It directs us to worshiping the Lord our God with everything that is within us, recognizing that worship is our pathway to growing deeper and stronger in our relationship with the Lord. And when we grow deeper and stronger in our relationship with the Lord, it helps us be better in all phases of our lives. When we give God our all in worship, and I'm not talking about what you do on Sunday mornings, okay? When I say give God your all in worship, I'm not talking about singing louder. I'm not talking about shouting louder. But no, I'm talking about when you see the entirety of life, when you see your whole life as an opportunity to worship, as an opportunity to point to God as being the one who is the source of everything that you have, your life, your career, your family. When you see every aspect of your life as an opportunity to worship and to point to God as being the source of everything good in your life, well, it helps us to deepen and strengthen our relationship. And that stronger and deeper relationship with God, it helps us to deal with life even better. And so here's just three quick things that worship does for us. And we're going to let you get on with your day. Here's the first thing. Worship remains. That's right. Worship remains. Worship remains our anchor when life is stormy, when we are going through it, when our lives are tossed and driven, like that old song says. What worship does, it remains our anchor when the stormy seas of life are encroaching upon us, when we're dealing with all kinds of chaos and all kinds of issues in our careers, in our marriages, in our families. It just helps us to stay anchored to the fact that God can and God will bring us through. So worship, it remains our anchor. Worship also, it responds. Worship actually, it builds us up spiritually so that when adversity comes, we can respond to it in a way that is going to be pleasing to God and helpful to us. We've all been there. We've all been there when our response to adversity didn't make things better, it just made things worse, you know. I'll even make up a word. It didn't make things better, it made things worse, you know. It did. It just made things worse. And but worship, it helps us to be able to overcome ourselves when adversity is pounding us, when the enemy is attacking us. Worship, it helps us to respond. It helps us knowing that God is with us, knowing that God is there, knowing that God is in control. All of those things, they help us to be able to respond to adversity in a way that is going to be pleasing to God and helpful to us. So worship, it remains. Worship, it responds. But here's the last thing. Here's the last thing that worship does. Worship reminds. Yes, worship reminds. We kind of hit on it just a moment ago, that God is in control. Worship reminds us that God is sovereign. that God is in control. In this age that we're living in this period of history, in which there are so many wannabe kings, it's helpful for us to know, it's helpful for us to recognize that God is in control, that God is so in control that God is able to take the bad stuff that happens and work it out for our good. He can. He does. In Romans chapter 8, verse 28, the word of God, it tells us, it reminds us that God is at work for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. So even when we see bad things happening, and it's not like we root for bad things happening, and not like you just say, come on, bad stuff, come on, what more of it? No. That's not what we're saying. But what we are saying is that God is so sovereign, God is so in control, that no matter what you are going through, no matter what you're dealing with, when you continue to turn to God through your worship, what you will see God is turning that thing around and working it out for your good. What you'll see God doing is turning that bad situation around, is turning that awful situation around in your life, that awful situation in your family, that awful situation in your career, that awful situation in our country. What we will see is God taking those awful situations and he will turn them around and work them out for our good. And worship, it reminds us of the fact that that is the kind of God that you serve. That's the kind of God that we serve. God bless you. God keep you. That's our prayer. Peace and love, everybody.